everybody and welcome to another route learning video on Train Sim World 3. If this happens to be the first video you've seen by me, then my name's Richard, aka Dadrail, and I'm a former passenger train driver and current freight train driver based in the southeast of England. Today we're going to be driving the Glossop Line for Train Sim World 3. We're going to be working 2 Golf 07 Manchester Piccadilly to Hadfield via Glossop, calling at Ashbury's, Guidebridge, Flowery Field, Newton for Hyde, Godley, Hattersley, Broadbottom, Dinting, Glossop, where we change ends, and then down to Hadfield. So this video is going to be purely a route learning video. I have made another video reviewing the actual route where I give my opinions and thoughts on it. So I've never actually driven this route or traversed this route in real life. However, what I've done is taken real world route learning principles, so principles that I would use if I was learning a real world route, and applied them to the simulator. So I've used resources such as the sectional appendix, route learning maps, Google Maps to get a hang of the geography a little bit, and route learning in-cab videos in order to learn this route. So I've got a list of notes in front of me. Hopefully they're going to work out okay. Hopefully we can give you some good breaking points and some information on the route so you can drive this route HUD-less going forward. Okay, so we are a few seconds late leaving already. Let's press the close doors button and hope for the best. So leaving Manchester Piccadilly, we are 15 miles an hour, rising to 25 once we get clear of the point. We're just going to take power notch 2 leaving the station. We don't want to take too much power. And we are looking for an E in the theatre box on the signal at the end of the platform. So there we go. You can see the signal on our right. We have a green and an E. E indicates to us we are going onto the up east line. So like I say, this video will purely be from an in-cab perspective. If you want to see my full route review video where we jump out the cab, get some nice external and flyby shots, then do go and check that out. I would advise as well, if you want to drive this route HUD-less, then do make some notes as we go along, because I am going to give you the breaking points for all of the stations. Got a 25 board just there, so as soon as the back of the train's clear we can accelerate to 25 and very shortly up to 35. Just waiting for the back of our train to clear that. You can see above the signal there we have a UE, then DE, UF and DF to our right. That indicates to us what line we're on. So we're currently on the up eastern, to our right is the down eastern, then the up fast and down fast. Quite commonly in locations where you've got multiple lines, you will have reminder boards above the track so the driver can identify what line they're on, which is really important when communicating to signallers. So we're just holding the train at 35 miles an hour. We are approaching Ardwick Junction. So at Ardwick Junction, the lines to our right go off towards Crewchester and Stoke. So just as we come through Ardwick Station, our line speed is going to go up to 40. We're not stopping here today. Our first station will be Ashbury's. And we also have, just out of sight, Ardwick Depot on our left. So line speed's gone up to 40, so we're going to get going. The timetable is pretty tight on this, so we do need to stay reasonably close to the speed limits. So coming up ahead of us, we've got Ashbury West Junction, which is where the line from Stalybridge and Manchester Victoria joins on. I believe this is a freight-only line just coming into our left here at Ashbury West Junction. What we're looking out for is a 60 mile an hour speed limit board, which will be our breaking point for Ashbury. So if you're at 40 miles an hour, which is the line speed, look out for the 60 board. Nice stencil style indicator just coming up on the left there. Drop it into brake step 1 there, and that will bring you in for Ashbury's quite nicely. So all of the braking points I'm going to give you will bring you into the stations at a reasonable speed. You may need a bit of brake step 2, just to refine the speed a little bit as we come in. And back to 1 for the stop. Few seconds down, but not too bad at this point. I'll take that. Hopefully we can make that up as we go along. Not much dwell time on the stations at all. We're pretty tight for our dwell times. So as we saw there, approaching Ashbury's, the line speed did go up to 60. So we are going to get it going, and our next station will be Guide Bridge. This is Ashbury East Junction, where the line to Bellevue, I think it's pronounced Bellevue, diverges. So we're on a slight uphill gradient now. The gradient is predominantly uphill all the way to Hadfield, where it then starts, apologies, all the way to Dinting, where it falls down towards Glossop. So we're just going to hold that line speed as close to 60 as we can, using power notch 1 and 2 just to keep it there. We're just approaching Gorton Junction and Gorton Station, which is where the good lines join from our left. So holding our speed at 60, we're on a 1% uphill gradient, which is quite a severe gradient. It's just holding the power there, power notch 2, power notch 1. Power notch 2 seems to be holding it quite nicely. You can clearly see the track bed of the disused tracks to our left as well. So we're now approaching Fairfield Station, which we are not stopping at. Our next station stop will be Guide Bridge. We do have a 40-mile-an-hour restriction just before Guide Bridge. And being that we're on quite an uphill gradient, we're going to use the gradient to take a lot of that speed out. Just passing through Fairfield now. The first overbridge after the station is where we want to be shutting off power and coasting. Just conserves a little bit of energy and lets the train take the strain. So we're going to close the power back just here. And we're just going to pass under the M60 Manchester Ring Road. And what we're looking out for now is there's your faulty warning board just there. What we're looking out for now is a short bridge / tunnel, which we're just coming up to. And then we're looking for a milepost just after it, which is a little yellow marker. And that's a good place to get the brakes in for Guide Bridge. Just beyond the signal there, you can see the milepost. Going to drop the brake in just there. That's going to pass the 40 board doing 40. And we're going to put a little bit of brake step 2 just to bring it into the station there. Now what you could do if you wanted to, because we were running a little bit late, was rather than shutting off and coasting, you could have kept the power in for a little bit longer. And made a little bit of time up. We are free on the free at Guide Bridge, opening the doors on the left. We're off to Flowery Field. So just before Guide Bridge there, I forgot to mention we had Guide Bridge Station Junction. And diverging to our left, we have got Guide Bridge West Junction, which heads off towards Staley Bridge. So just after the junction, the line speed will go back up to 60. Obviously, it dropped to 40 just before the station there. So we're just going to blend those speeds in. So I've just knocked the power down to power notch 3. And literally just as we hit the 40 there, we're clear of the 60. And we have Guide Bridge East Junction just coming in on our left there. The line to our left is the up and down passenger loop line. We are now on the up main. So Flowery Field is our next station stop. We are looking for Hyde Junction as our shut-off point. So maintaining the speed at 60. Still on that uphill gradient, which is going to help us. Just approaching Hyde Junction now, which is where the up and down passenger loop joins from our left. And the line to Woodley diverges to our right. So I'm going to shut off the power just there. We're just under 60, which is okay. The station to our right is Hyde North. And what we're looking for is an AWS magnet on the opposite line. Step 1 at that point will bring us in quite nicely. There it is, just coming up on the right. And we're going to drop step 1 in there, which will bring us in for Flowery Field. I do apologise if you can hear cats behind me. My cats are running around, going a bit mad at the moment. Yeah, we were a little bit under 60 when we shut off there, which is why we've come in a little bit slow. And as you get used to driving the route, you will adjust your braking points as required. I've said we've come in a little bit slow and then had to chuck loads of braking at the end, but nevertheless, the AWS magnet there is a pretty good braking point. Flowery Field, doors on the left. How are we doing for time? We are pretty much back on time. We're a few seconds down. Our next station will be Newton for Hyde, and it's not very far away, only 0.6 miles. So what we want to do is accelerate to 45 miles an hour and brake at the overbridge. So there we are, just shutting off around 45. There's the overbridge coming up. And again, we're going to drop brake step 1 in here at the overbridge. Which is going to bring us into Newton for Hyde quite nicely. Just needing a little bit of brake step 2 there just to adjust it. Or maybe I should have left that in step 1. That could have been a one-hit wonder. The good news is we are now more or less back on time. And our next station will be Godley. We're just passing over the M67 motorway now. We're going to accelerate to 50 miles an hour and then brake at the overbridge. We only just reach the overbridge as we get to 50. It's not this overbridge here. It's the one just coming up round the corner there. It's more or less as soon as we reach 50, we're going to put the brakes in. There's our 50, there's the overbridge, into brake step 1 as we come down towards Godley. Should have got the brake step 2 in a little bit earlier there. We are Godley. Doors on the left. And we are now running a little bit early, which is good. So the next station on this route will be Hattersley. And we're going to accelerate up to around about 50 miles per hour. Again, these stations here are quite close together. Don't be fooled by the platforms coming up. It did catch me out the first time. This is the Godley Junction station. No longer open. Disused Godley Junction station. And then we're going to shut off at 50 miles per hour, and we are looking for a electrical box on the right hand side, which will bring us in for Hattersley. Hattersley will be an offside door release as well. Sorry, electrical box on the left hand side, not the right, my bad. And we're going to drop it into brake step 1 just about there. And she's coming down really nicely. Little bit of cant on the track as we come into Hattersley. It's looking like a good approach. This could be a one-hit wonder. That's what you want to aim for. If you can make one brake application and the train stops in exactly the right place, you know you've done a good job. Brake step 1. Leave you there. There's the free car mark on the right. We're going to be a little bit short maybe. Yeah, we'll take that. One-hit wonder. Lovely. And of course we are doors on the right-hand side. So we're coming into the stations here nice and slowly, good brake applications, and we are running a little bit early as well. Few seconds to go and we will get those doors closed and get on our way. And leaving Hattersley, we're going to accelerate to 55 miles per hour, and we are looking for a green footbridge overbridge. it's a pretty short route, the Glossop Line, but an interesting route, I feel. Again, if you do want to see my full route review video, then that is on the channel. Do go and check that out. So accelerating up to 55, where we're going to shut back the power. Slight uphill gradients, that is going to take a little bit of our speed out. And we're looking out for a green footbridge, which is just around the corner here on the left. And that serves as our braking point for Broadbottom. I'm going to go in just before the bridge there. Can we get another hit wonder? Will it be another one hit wonder? Absolutely not. Way too slow. Yeah, the green bridge there, nevertheless. Look out for that. That is a pretty good braking point as we come in. And we are doors on the left. The next station on our service will be Dinting, which is where we go down to a single track towards Glossop. Okay, we're only going to take power notch 3 out of Broadbottom because we do have Broadbottom Viaduct coming up, which is a 40-mile-an-hour speed restriction on it. You can just about see that ahead of us. There's no sense taking full power. And I'm just going to knock the power back a little bit. As we come across the beautiful Broadbottom Viaduct. Just want a slight uphill gradient as well, so we're just holding that speed in there. And straight after the viaduct, the speed limit goes back up to 60 miles per hour. And we are going to get the train all the way up to 60. And we're going to hold the speed at 60 as well. Again, using power notch 1, power notch 2, just to hold it there. Now what we're looking out for is an AWS magnet coming up in the 4-foot on our line. You can just about see it there. That is where we're going to shut off the power. And the AWS is for a fixed distant indication. So just before we go past the fixed distant, we're going to drop it into brake step 1. The fixed distant board you see there, we treat that as a single yellow signal. So we have to assume that our next signal is going to be red. And we're going to keep the brake in until we sight the signal. So at this speed we're going to be able to react to what we see in front of us. We have a red. Now there's our 40-mile-an-hour restriction on the left. Signal has stepped up to a green. So we are 40 across the viaduct here. However, just beyond the viaduct the line speed will drop to 10 miles per hour. And this is Dinting Viaduct. The 10 mile an hour starts just before we go across the point work ahead of us. Because of the very sharp radius on the point work and through Dinting station. So from Dinting the line begins to fall, and you do need to keep an eye on that as you come through the platform because the speed can creep up ever so slightly. So on the last signal we had a position 4 route indicator, which is what we require if we're going to Glossop. If we were going direct to Hadfield we would get a main aspect only. You would not get the position 4, it would be a main aspect only. So we are actually a minute early coming into Dinting, which is quite good. We are at Dinting, 3 on the 3, doors on the left. You may have noticed at some of the stations there are some of the stop car markers missing in places. Again, if you want to see my full route review video, do go and check that out. And we are time to depart. Let's close the doors. And we're now heading for Glossop, and it is still 10 miles per hour. So we're just approaching Dinting South Junction, which forms part of the Dinting Triangle. You can see there, lovely stencil style indicator. Speed limit's going to go up to 25 just as we clear the junction. So we're up to 25, then we are 45 just around the corner. And it's only 0.8 miles to Glossop, not very far at all. Still on that downhill gradient at the moment. You can get so used to having been on the uphill gradient and how the train handles on the uphill gradient for so long that you can forget that the train may run away with you. So it's just worth bearing that in mind. There's our 45. We're going to accelerate up to 40. Just as the back of the train clears. Only half a mile to Glossop and we've got a 10 mile an hour restriction coming up. So we're going to accelerate up to 40. And then we're going to shut off and let the train coast. We do have a 10 mile an hour restriction just before the station. And we're looking for the AWS magnet, which is just coming up. That is a good place to put brake step 1 in, which I have failed to do, so we're going to go into brake step 2. And brake step 3. Failed to do spectacularly. If we were doing a live stream, that would be tea and biscuits with the manager. No, if you go into brake step 1 at the AWS magnet there, it will bring you down for the 10 mile an hour quite nicely. And then we're creeping into the platform here at Glossop at just 10 miles per hour. Don't forget your TPWS loops approaching the buffer stops. They do work. And they are set for 10 miles per hour. So as long as you're under 10 miles an hour going under the buffer stops, you will be going up to the buffer stops, you will be absolutely fine. More than 10 and you will get a TPWS brake application. And that will definitely be tea and biscuits for your manager. And we aim to stop approximately 6 foot away from the buffer stop, which can actually be really hard to judge. Okay, so we're at the end of the line. Brake step 3, DRA on, into neutral. We are going to open the doors on the right hand side. We can set our tail lights to on, our marker lights to off. We're already in brake step 3 there. Reverser to off, key round to off as well. So we do need to continue our journey round to Hadfield. So we're going to return to free roam, finish what we were doing there. Just key off. And we're going to walk around to the back of the train. Yes, we have red lights. Run to the front. Now, if you don't do this quickly enough, the AI will take over and the train will disappear, especially if you're late. Take the train off of the AI. Close the door there. Okay. Key in. We're going to put our safety systems back in as well. AWS in and the vigilance in and TPWS set to normal. Tail lights off. Day headlights on. GSMR has set itself up. DRA we can turn off because we are not sitting at a red signal. And our departure time is set for 9:35. So if you're not quick enough changing ends and the AI does decide to take the train, don't panic too much. You can just go in and load up part 2. So the scenarios are divided, the timetable services are divided into part 1 and part 2. So like I say, if the train does disappear, go back to the main menu, load up part 2 of the same scenario, the same timetable service I should say. Okay, coming up to departure time. Put our door key in. There we go. And we are 10 miles an hour leaving Glossop, making the short journey 1.3 miles around to Hadfield. It's a short journey, but it's quite a slow one. And there's our 25:45 warning. And we can get the train going up to 45 miles an hour. As soon as the back is clear, there we go. A little bit over on the speed there, and we want brake step 1 at the fixed distance board that we've just gone past. Just going to get the speed down to 25. And it will shortly drop to 10 at Dinting South Junction. There's the 25 board. We've got position 4 route indicator here at Dinting South. Position 4 takes us round to Hadfield. If we had the main aspect only, would be going back into Dinting Station and then on to Manchester. Yes, a little bit further round to the 10 mile an hour than I thought. Might have to give that a little bit of power actually to get that round. Yeah, let's get it going. 10 starts just about the points. I need to go back and refine my route learning in this location. I'm going to blame the gradient. There we go, there's our 10 board. I do love the stencil style route indicators as well, rather than the numbers on a board, painted on a board. In a lot of areas, especially the London area in particular, a lot of the areas I sign, they have started replacing the new board indicators with the stencil style indicators. The reason being that a lot of the boards become graffitied, whereas with a stencil style indicator, it doesn't matter how much spray paint you put on it, it's always going to be readable. So just gone over Dinting South Junction, we're just coming around to Dinting East Junction. I do wonder if there used to be a platform here at one point. It seems logical that there would have been, but I don't know. If anybody knows, let me know in the comment section. Quite slow coming around here. Once we get clear of the Dinting East, it will accelerate. We will be able to accelerate back up to 40 miles per hour. And there is the aforementioned Dinting East Junction just coming up, forming the other part of the triangular junction. So the line just coming from Dinting. The line is just coming from Dinting West. The more eagle-eared amongst you will have noticed my Ring doorbell going off in the background. And there we go, we can accelerate up. Accelerating up to 40. We're on an uphill gradient, so we're going to get to 40. And just shut back. There we go. That's close enough. We'll take that. And we do have a 15 mile an hour restriction coming into Hadfield. And we're going to use the back of this fixed distance signal as our marker. Just there. Brake step 1 just there will see us just about right for the 15. Little bit of 2. And there we go, 15 on the 15. So we are on an uphill gradient, so we're just going to keep a little bit of power in just to maintain the 15. The fixed distance signal on our left there, treat that as a 1 yellow. Obviously the red is our buffer stops at Hadfield. It's coming into Hadfield. Don't forget about your TPWS loops. You want to make sure you're under 10 miles an hour for the TPWS. And the grids are just in front of us there. Hopefully you have enjoyed this route learning video, and hopefully you've learnt 1 or 2 things along the way. If you've taken notes, then hopefully you can drive the route completely HUD-less. If you have enjoyed this video, then of course please do leave a like and consider subscribing. That would be absolutely brilliant. And why not check out the other route learning video, or should I say the next route learning video, which will take us from Hadfield via Glossop back to Manchester Piccadilly. And do check out my full route review video as well. You can also follow me on Discord. Join our Discord community, there's a link in the description below, or you can follow my adventures as a train driver over on my social media channels, which are on the screen for you right now. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and until the next one, create, share, and inspire.